Hey VC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I am back to do a quick, I guess kind of thread video request. DJ Illwithers, I think that's how you pronounce his name, sent me a question earlier that I thought I would kind of jump in and answer for him. It's kind of a neat question. He was asking what are 10, I think Derek actually answered this a little while ago, but it was what are 10 of your favorite sides of different albums? Which is a really good question, as always. It made me kind of go through the stacks and start digging and looking through things. So I think I pulled out a few more than 10, and I figured since I pulled them out, I'll go ahead and show them anyway. So as always, another thread in the BC. We're cheating. You know, pretty much used to that by now. So anyway, this is what's playing in the background. I don't know if you can hear it or not, because I got it a little bit lower so it doesn't drown me out. But the Pipettes. We are the Pipettes. I don't know if you guys very familiar with this group or not, but just kind of a, it's kind of cool. It's just a little, you know, three-chick ensemble, some, you know, just a little pop-ish, almost like a bit of a girly 80s feel to it. You know, nothing that's going to be chart-busting or anything, but it's definitely a really, really fun album to listen to. It's definitely that female 80s bubblegum type pop stuff, but I like it a lot. Anyway, so let me just kind of jump right into some of the albums that I picked out. And I guess kind of the criteria I used was I was really trying to make sure that I picked albums that were like every single song on the side was really great. Which is a lot for me to say sometimes too, because I think Derek mentioned this a little bit in his response, but I'm definitely the type of person that I skip around and I go right to what I want to hear or what I'm desiring at that moment. That's why, even though I think I've said this before, even though I'm a really big vinyl record collector, the iPod was actually designed more for the way that I typically listen to music, because I'm kind of all over the place all the time, going from one thing to the next, and you know, from hip hop to metal to classical to whatever, just whatever urge catches me. Or I'll hear some piece in a metal song that reminds me of some piece in a classical song, and now I have to go right to that song. So I'm definitely the kind that tends to bounce around. So anytime I can find an album where I can lay down a side and really enjoy every single song all the way through, that's really saying something about the album. So anyway, enough of the rambling. Let me kind of get into the ones I picked. So first one here, which happens to be my favorite gospel album of all time, is Willie Neal Johnson and the Gospel Keynotes. Rise Again. Entire album is great, and actually I could really say both sides. I love every single song on both sides. Side one is probably my favorite, but anyway, that's definitely one I would throw on there. And another one here, Jimmy Cliff, Power and Glory, one of my favorite reggae albums, one of my first reggae albums in terms of when I was younger, when I actually started listening to reggae. I kind of knew about Jimmy before Marley and all of that. But side one on this album, you know, basically has 4 songs. We All Are One, Sunshine in the Music, Reggae, Night, and Piece of the Pie, which are probably 4 of my favorite songs by Jimmy Cliff. Sunshine in the Music may not be quite as up there as some of his other things, but it's still a really great song. That entire side is great. Next, I'm going to go with a few things that are probably pretty common here, but they're probably common because the album is so great from front to back. So first off, Dire Straits, Brothers in Arms. I mean, again, everybody knows this album. I bet pretty much everyone in the community has this album. But again, when you look at side one, So Far Away, Money for Nothing, Walk of Life, Your Latest Trick, Why Worry, all perfect songs from start to finish. And we haven't gotten on the side two yet with Brother in Arms and everything else. I mean, that was a killer album right there. Next, this is one that really kind of, I think, just has an automatic on a question like this, but Led Zeppelin 4. And again, you can pick either side when it comes to this album. I mean, I would probably say if I had to pick a side from start to finish, I'd probably have to go with side one. I mean, with Black Dog, Rock and Roll, The Battle of Evermore, and Stairway to Heaven. But then again, you look at side two, Misty Mountain Hop, Four Sticks, Going to California When the Levee Breaks. I mean, again, both of those sides are perfect from start to finish. Even though this album has been played out to the point where it can be kind of hard to hear it anymore. I can sit back and tell you that it's great from front to back, but to just put it on and listen to it, especially like Stairway to Heaven, I mean, the song has just been, I feel, just so played out that it's even hard to hear the greatness in it anymore. Knowing that it's there, and then, I'm sure you guys know what I'm saying there, but anyway, you definitely have to include that when you talk about a best side from front to back. Next, even though there's only 2 sides, I think you still have to put it on there, which is Jimi Hendrix, Band of Gypsies. And here I'm going with side 1, because you have Who Knows as well as Machine Gun. Again, 2 perfect songs, only 2 songs may kind of, make it easier to have a great side or whatever, but that still has to be put in there. Not to mention just the fact that with Machine Gun, that's the song that I always say has the infamous note that Jimmy hits right before he goes into the guitar solo. I think it's at like the 4-minute mark in the song, but I mean, just listening to him hit and hold that note is just, it's awesome. But anyway, you have to definitely give that one of my favorite sides. Another one that I've shown in a number of different videos when we ask questions. This is Stone Temple Pilots Core, and again it comes up in another thread. And here I'm going with side 1. And it might be cheating a little bit because I'm not extremely fond of the song Naked Sunday on side 1, but it's still good enough, especially with what it's surrounded with on the rest of the side, to say that that's definitely one of my favorite sides to an album that I can truly listen to from front to back. Because again, with the rest of the side, you're talking about Dead and Bloated, Sex Type Thing, Wicked Garden, No Memory, Sin, Creep. I mean, I never get tired of talking about this album. That is just a killer album. Great songs. I mean, the production on it was incredible. Album was heavy as hell without being fast as hell. I mean, it's just a perfect album. So you'll see that when I'm sure in many more threads with these type of questions. Next here, John Coltrane's Love Supreme. And even though I'm going to go with side 1 is probably the side I like to listen to a little bit more, I think side 2 is actually probably the more perfect side on this particular album. And again, that's my favorite jazz album of all time, so you've probably seen me pull that one out a few times. Another one would be EPMD, Strictly Business. Side 1, the perfect old school hip hop album. Every single song on side 1 is absolutely perfect. Side 2 is actually pretty good too, but side 1 is just, I mean, perfect from front to back. I would not change anything about a single song on side 1. Of course, with my favorite on there being You Got to Chill. I mean, that good old Roger and Zapp sample, and Let the Funk Flow, Because I'm House, and the old Aretha Franklin Rocksteady sample on that, Strictly Business. I mean, just all kinds of great stuff. So side 1 there. Next, Public Enemy, Takes a Nation to Millions to Hold Us Back. Again, one of the perfect hip-hop albums of all time, especially when hip-hop really started to make its way up. And side 2, I think, on this album is perfect from front to back. I can't really say I have a favorite song out of there because they're all so incredible, but I would probably say Black Steel and The Horror of Chaos and Rebel Without a Pause are probably the 2 best songs on that side. But again, perfect side 2. And here's one I think sometimes it gets forgotten about a little bit. Van Morrison, Moondance. I think side 1 on this is really perfect from front to back. And again, Stone Me, Moondance, Crazy Love, Caravan, Into the Mystic. I mean, that's a really, really good side. Some of Morrison's best stuff right there. And now let's get into some of the fun stuff too. Some of the laugh at me fun stuff. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Cyndi Lauper, She's So Unusual. Pretty much the perfect album, but side 1 is definitely the perfect 80s pop album. I mean, every song on there, to me, again, when it comes to 80s pop, is perfect. Money Changes Everything, Girls Just Want to Have Fun, When You Were Mine, and Time After Time. Does not get any better from the 80s than that right there. Another one that's somewhat of a given, and again, you can almost go with both sides. Actually, you could go with both sides on this. Prince, Purple Rain. Again, very common, but it's common for a reason, because this album was a freaking smash, plain and simple. So, again, you can pick your side on this. Side 1, When Doves Cry, Take Me With You, The Beautiful Ones, Computer Blue, Darling Nikki. Again, all perfect across the board. Side 2, When Doves Cry, I Would Die For You, Baby I'm a Star, and Purple Rain. Again, perfect from front to start. So, I mean, song for song across any album, this is definitely a perfect album from front to back. And looking over this just made me think, I didn't even think to pull out Michael Jackson's Thriller, which, of course, is kind of another one of those givens. Didn't cross my mind for whatever reason. Now we're kind of bouncing around a little bit here. Next, I'm going to go with Twisted Sister, Stay Hungry, a album that I beat into my head when I was back in grade school, I believe. There was a summer where me and two really good friends that I had, we had our little boxes or whatever that we would, go around the neighborhood with our tape recorders, using up 18 double D batteries. And one summer, I swear, Stay Hungry never left our tape decks. That's the only cassette that we played the entire summer. So a lot of these songs really got beat into my head. But as good as side 1 is, I think side 2 is probably song for song the best side. And there you're dealing with I Wanna Rock, The Price, Don't Let Me Down, The Beast, and SMF. So that's a perfect side to me. Every time I even see that now, it just brings back such memories. I get all these grade school flashbacks. And you guys know the group that I completely obsessed with, which is Godsmack, which I'm going to see in concert in about 4 months, which is awesome. But anyway, this is their first self-titled album, which I've shown a number of times. And side 1, again, on this, I think is really the perfect side. Moon Baby, Whatever, Keep Away, Time Bomb, Bad Religion, Immune, all great songs. Next, or last 2 I should say, I'm going to go with Van Halen, 5150. Probably my favorite Van Halen album, which again I've said that a number of times and I've caught a little bit of flack for it, but that's cool. That's what feedback in the community is all about. And here, again, you could really kind of pick either side. I would probably have to say side 2, because that's where you have the Best of Both Worlds, Love Walks In, 5150, and Inside, which are all perfect songs. But then again, I mean, side 1, 2, Why Can't This Be Love, Get Up, Dream, Summer Nights, Good Enough. Again, those are all great songs too, so you could really pick either side on that one. But I'm going to go with side 2. Especially the song 5150, I think that's a great song. And last but not least, this should be no shock. There's a reason why I own 5 copies of this album. You guys have seen me flash it a million times. Metallica's Master of Puppets, side 1 is perfection. Perfection through and through. Battery, Master of Puppets, The Thing That Should Not Be, and Welcome Home Sanitarium. Freaking perfect. That's all I can say. So anyway, those are the ones. Actually, maybe I should show this one too. I was actually getting ready to play this one next, and it's just kind of sitting here. But I remember side 2 of this High Violet is a pretty good album too. I mean, I don't know if I would necessarily say it's one of the best sides of all time, but it's a great side from front to back. And side 2 of the first album is one that has Little Faith, Afraid of Everyone, and Blood Buzz Ohio. So that's, again, it's just kind of sitting here, but that's also a very good side to that album. So anyway, there you go, VC. Just wanted to do that little video response. Very good question. And I actually have one thread question I want to share, so I'll probably come back here pretty soon and do a little thread as well, kind of a one-question thing about a particular album, so it should be kind of easy to answer. But anyway, take care, VC. As always, good seeing you guys, and we will talk to you soon.